Good morning. Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. I'm Monique Hansen, a member of the church's Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she, her. Today, we're continuing to meet virtually using Zoom as well as in-person at the Admiral and the 2U Sanctuary. We ask everyone's indulgence for the complications of a three-part event. We're glad you're here regardless of your mode of attending. On Zoom, you'll notice a chat feed available where you can say hello, interact, and share your joys and concerns when we reach that time in the service. You can also use the Zoom closed captioning through the live transcript option. When we would traditionally sing together and read things in unison, you're encouraged to do so as well, even though you are masked or on mute. Our voices echo through the world, so we might just hear each other if we listen closely and sing with our full spirit. We're paying close attention to COVID recommendations, and this could mean that things might change at any time. But for now, we recognize that maintaining physical distancing, even while masked, is an act of love and protection. We especially welcome newcomers this morning. Finding a new community and making new connections can be challenging. Please know that we're so excited to have you with us and look forward to getting to know you. If you're new to us today, please, you're welcome to note that in the Zoom chat or mention it in person during the chats after service. Please feel free to fill out one of the yellow cards on the welcome table with your contact information to receive twice monthly newsletters. You can also note if you'd like a name tag made for you. For those of you worshiping in the 2U Sanctuary, we're not currently passing the collection plate, but if you'd like to make a donation in person, you can place it in the white box on the wall just outside the sanctuary doors, either before or after the service. There are envelopes on the welcome table. You may also, like the Zoom participants, text your donation to Second Unitarian. The information is in the order of service. Our worship today is led by Reverend Derek Jackson, one of our affiliated community ministers. Our time together requires a large group of people who make possible the worship, the music, and the technical production. They're listed in the order of service, and we thank them so very much for their effort. Now there's a special announcement regarding Fall Fest.
I'm Rob Muller, and this is my fall, it's not a Cubs cap, it is a Fall Fest fundraiser Ask Me Questions cap. I'm privileged to be part of the group organizing what's going to be a terrific event on November 13th. As you may know, this is 2U's big fall fundraiser, and the funds raised really help support all the good work of this church. So please give early, give often. There are lots of ways you can participate. You can join really an awesome group of sponsors who've already pledged over $8,000 to support the fall fundraiser. You can, of course, buy tickets to the event. We'd love to see you here on the 13th, but even if you can't come, you're welcome to buy tickets for yourself and your extended families. Third, you can pick up a raffle ticket. Raffle tickets will go on sale soon for some awesome bicycle options, and you can donate and then eventually bid on the silent auction. And there's the paddle race on the 13th. Everything you could possibly want to know about the Fall Fest is on the website, including the lineup for the program on November 13th, which features some really terrific storytellers, some music, and given that the theme is the 150th anniversary of the Chicago fire, a barbecue dinner. The same COVID precautions will be taken as we take for Sunday services. Finally, I'd like to make a plug for the silent auction. We're in our final week of soliciting contributions. This is an amazingly talented group of folks in this congregation. Your expertise is likely something that someone else would value a ton. So donate an activity, donate an event, host a dinner, lead a tour of your favorite part of the city, give a cooking lesson, a fishing lesson, a music lesson, tons of possibilities of things you might want to donate to the silent auction. So please sign up now. And really looking forward to seeing everybody at our barn burner on November 13th. Thank you so much.
You can find more information and additional announcements in the order of service and on the 2U website. As 2U begins to engage the question of adopting the 8th principle, Jonah Bondurant will share with us a testimonial.
Good morning. As we consider adopting the 8th principle, I'd like to share some comments and questions that I hope we'll consider during the process. If you're new here, you can find our current 7 principles on the inside of the back cover of our order of service. First, allow me to read the 8th principle. It says, "We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse and multicultural beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions." When I consider the 8th principle, I ask a few questions. Do we have relationships with diverse and multicultural communities? What is the nature of those relationships? What is missing from our existing principles? Why does racism need to be named? Why does our religion need a list of principles anyway? I am no theologian. I'm an average layperson trying to make sense of our Unitarian Universalism and my place in it. And right now, I'm asking these questions because of the 8th principle. If we were to ask and answer these questions together amongst ourselves and others, what goal could that achieve? Beloved community. That's the hypothesis at the center of this principle. And I think it's a fair one. My 2U roots have prompted me to ask these questions and attempt answers, with plenty of mistakes. But I don't think we've all been asking these questions. It's my hope that by adopting the 8th principle, we'll more consistently ask and answer these questions. And if we do so through action, not just rhetoric, we can create beloved community.
I now welcome John Wambledorf to lead our call to worship.
Our words today come from Reverend Kirk D. Lodman Copeland. We are called together in worship as a beloved community. We are called to set aside distractions and anxieties that we might touch deeper springs and be renewed. We are called to seek and share comfort for the hurts that afflict. We are called to desire more love, more justice, and life more abundant. We are called to truth, to mercy, to humility, and to courage. Let us answer the call with the yes of our lives. I invite you, as you feel ready, to take a breath in and out. As the music begins, let us enter into our service together.
In just a moment, Daniel on Zoom and Harris at the Admiral will light our chalice, the symbol of our faith. We light our chalice this morning with these words by Reverend Dr. We light our flaming chalice as a beloved people united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us a spirit of humility. May it ignite in us a radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. This is a chalice of audacious hope. This chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly toward our highest ideals. Daniel and Harris, would you light our chalice, please?
Please join us in body and spirit and voice. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in hymn number 205, Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less
Please join me in reciting our covenant. The words are in your order of service. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion.
Please rise in spirit or body as you are able. Join us in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Alicia, the Director of Faith Development, and now it is time for the story for all ages. So those of you at home on Zoom, if you have any kiddos around, it's a good time to ask them to join you. And I'm so glad that you here in the sanctuary will now be able to see the pages of the story. Today's book is called How to Apologize by David Larochelle and illustrated by Mike Wanatka. Everyone makes mistakes. Looks like a penguin crashed through the ceiling there. Whether you are big, like this elephant, or small, like the kitty cat. And when you've made a mistake that has hurt someone or something, the right thing to do is apologize. Apologizing can be hard, especially if the other person is mad. That's true. Or if it's someone you don't like. But it's important to apologize anyway, even if that person owes you an apology too. Looks like the bee and the fly are both running for president, and they're not being very good candidates. Sounds like Chicago politics. Your apology can be simple. Tell the other person you're sorry for what you did. The giraffe is telling the little worm, "I'm sorry I borrowed your socks without permission." Don't make excuses. I'm usually much more careful, but I had an itch on my knee and a mosquito flew down my throat, and I was trying to avoid dangerous-looking crack in the sidewalk, and if your ladder wasn't taking so much space, I wouldn't have bumped into it. That's a lot of excuses. Instead, just say, "I'm sorry I knocked you over." And be sincere. Not sincere. Mom told me I had to apologize for putting your doll in the fishbowl or I can't go outside and play baseball, so I'm sorry. Another not sincere example. I'm sorry I accidentally squirted you with the garden hose when you were weeding the flower bed. But you have to admit, you look hilarious. That doesn't sound sincere. Or what about, look at the new glow-in-the-dark watch I got for my birthday, and I'm having a cupcake party on Saturday, and I'm sorry I broke your violin. And guess who's going to be the star of the dance recital next week? Me. But a sincere apology would be like, I'm sorry I popped your balloon. I really, really am. You can also apologize with a note. This sloth, he received a note that says, Dear Sloth, I am sorry I stepped on your toes. I should not have been running so fast. Signed, the snail. Even if the mistake happened a long time ago. Do you remember back in 1987 when I called you a pokey pants? Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. It is never too late to apologize. If possible, try to fix the mistake. Remember when the penguin crashed through the ceiling of the alligator taking a bath? Now he's made a new roof for the alligator. But sometimes you can't. In that case, you can still say you're sorry, then take steps to avoid making the same mistake again. Instead of using the rhinoceros's body to stick pins in, they decided to move the pin the tail on the donkey to the tree. That was some good problem solving. And they said, we're very, very sorry. It might be difficult, but apologizing will make you feel better. More importantly, it will make the other person feel better. Looks like the little baby bear cut a hole in Papa Bear's shorts. And that's why we apologize, so that we can both feel better. Thanks for listening to my story today.
Each year, we all make a commitment, a pledge to support the ministry of our church. In addition to this contribution, each Sunday we take a collection so that we can share with those doing justice beyond our church community. While we are unable to come together in person, you can still share your resources. To make your contribution, you can send a text and follow the prompts. The information is also in the order of service for those friends in person. We will have the number on your screen as the music plays for the offertory, a text and follow prompts. We will have, for the month of October, we are sharing our plate with Immigration Emergency Fund of the Sanctuary Working Group of the Chicago Religious Leadership Network. This morning, we will hear some words from Juan Carlos Hernandez, the program coordinator for the Immigration Emergency Fund.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much. First of all, let me say that. Thank you for inviting me to share with you during these past few weeks. It's been a pleasure to accompany you at these services. I'm very grateful for this time. And what I think about, and I wanted us to reflect on during this brief time I have, is that this Sanctuary Working Group, which is part of our organizing committee, has really been a beam of light. I think a beam of light for the individuals that we've helped, but also for us coming together as a group. We came together virtually since pretty much the beginning of this pandemic. We've gathered online, but also outside. People we've supported we've needed to meet with them. And just a few of the people we helped an individual who lost his DACA status, helped him find temporary housing in order to protect his undocumented parents stay safe. We also helped a couple from Texas come up here and find a friendlier court for their asylum case. We helped a man from Cameroon who was seeking medical care for a rare disease. We helped them find temporary housing here in Chicago and then move on to New York. We helped some undocumented students from Nigeria get a good footing for their first year in college from some very generous donations, and we're very grateful for that. And most recently, we helped and we're helping several individuals and families out at the same time, but we helped a family from Honduras find a home here. Had we not been able to step in, they would have been in detention and probably deported by now, or perhaps in detention for a very long time. So it's this type of impact that this fund provides, and I'm very grateful for any support that you might provide. And again, thank you for inviting me. I'm very grateful for this time.
Now I invite you to join me in reading our offertory words. The words are printed in your order of service and are on your screen. This church is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
I invite you now into the spirit of prayer and meditation. Let us start by breathing together. Take a breath in and out. We begin in thanks. Thankful for the breath in our lungs, the beauty of our earth, and the strength of this community. We hold in our hearts those who care for family in ill health, those who live with grief or chronic pain, those struggling with addiction or illness, seen and unseen. We are with you. For parents and teachers and all those whose primary spiritual practice is caring for children, we are with you. We pray for our neighbors in prison, for those who are struggling to stay afloat in the midst of poverty. We are with you. We pray for all those living in harm's way. We pray for our planet and commit to work that will lead us away from the harms of climate chaos. We pray that wisdom, compassion, and empathy guide and are the leaders of our world. May they and we be instruments of a just and lasting peace. Our lives are blessed by those who knowingly, with curiosity and courage, face their final days. For those locked in concentration camps at the border, held in cages and inhumane conditions, for those in ICE detention centers here in Chicago, we are with you, and we commit to doing more. For those struggling with fear and anxiety right now, we offer our prayers of comfort and care. For those who face the loss of a job, financial resources, and security right now, we offer solidarity and a commitment to share what we can. For those struggling with the impact of isolation, we promise to reach out with love. Into this shared silence, I invite you now to speak the name of anyone you wish to lift up into the loving support of this community. With our deepest compassion, let us hold in our hearts those named and unnamed, those remembered and those forgotten. Let it be so. Amen. Blessed be. At this time, I will light 2 candles, one representing the joys and celebrations we are experiencing, and another representing the concerns and sorrows we are holding. As we wish to return to our congregational ritual of lighting candles for our joys, concerns, and sorrows, we want to maintain our safety and comfort with each other. You are invited to come up and get a candle from the usher, or have the usher light a candle for you. As you end your time of contemplation and candle lighting, we invite you to use the hand sanitizer available so that we all can be clean and safe together in our service. At this same time, I invite our friends at the Admiral to come forward and take a pebble from one bowl. Hold it tightly, putting your energy into the stone, and then, knowing your joys and sorrows to be shared by this community, let it go lightly into the other bowl. As the music continues, I invite our friends online to share your joys and concerns in our chat window.
begun. Heat of August lifted by disappearing sun, by disappearing sun. The seeds that grew to flower, lost in autumn wind. Time spins relentless and turns away again, and turns away again, leaving my bedroom silent, and the time when the robin sang barren, nest blown from the window ledge when she left that day, leaving my bedroom silent, and the time when the robin sang barren, nest blown from the window ledge when she left that day. She didn't wait for me. Time never waits for anyone. The knife edge of winter cuts into the oak. The wound bleeds out yellow, cathedrals and snow, cathedrals and snow. Her arms raw and barren hold me to my bones, teaching me to warm them with rivers from my soul, with rivers from my soul, leaving my bedroom silent, and the time when the robin sang barren, nest blown from the window ledge when she left that day, leaving my bedroom silent, and the time when the
we hold all of these joys, celebrations, sorrows, and struggles close to our hearts. John will now share our first reading.
Our first reading is from We Will Not Cancel Us and Other Dreams of Transformative Justice by Adrienne Marie Brown. I want us to look at each other with the eyes of interdependence, such that when someone causes harm, we find the gentle parent inside of us who can use the voice of accountability while also bringing curiosity. Why did you cause harm? Do you know? Do you know other options? Apologize. That we can set boundaries that don't require the disappearance of other survivors. That we can act towards accountability with the touch of love. That when someone falls behind, we can use the parent's voice of discipline while also picking them up and carrying them for a while if needed. I want us to adapt from systems of oppression and punishment to systems of uplifting and transforming. I want us to notice that this is a moment when we need to orient and move towards life, not surrender to the incompetence and hopelessness of our national leadership. I want us to be discerning. I want our movement to feel like a vibrant, accountable space where causing harm does not mean you're excluded immediately and eternally from healing, justice, community, or belonging. I want us to grow lots and lots of skills at holding the processes by which we mend the wounds in our communities and ourselves. I want satisfying consequences that actually end cycles of harm, generate safety, and deepen movement. I want us to have an abundance of skill in facilitation and meditation when what needs to be addressed is at the level of misunderstanding, contradiction, mistake, or conflict. I want us collectively to be able to use precise language and to be comfortable asking each other questions for the sake of providing each other the absolute best, most healing, and most satisfying support possible.
Our second reading this morning is from the 4 Parts of Accountability, How to Give a Genuine Apology, Part 1, by Mia Mingus. For most of us, we have been taught to fear accountability and struggle to know how to conceive of it outside of punishment and revenge. Accountability does not have to be scary, though it will never be easy or comfortable. And it shouldn't be comfortable. True accountability, by its very nature, should push us to grow and change, to transform. Transformation is not to be romanticized or taken lightly. Remember, true transformation requires a birth and a death, an ending and a beginning. True accountability requires vulnerability and courage, 2 qualities that we are not readily encouraged to practice in our society. Accountability is generative, not punitive. If you want punishment, you should be upfront and transparent about that. Do not ask for accountability when what you really want is punishment or revenge. Just as it takes work to be accountable, it also takes work to receive someone's accountability. We need to move away from holding people accountable and instead work to support people to proactively take accountability for themselves. It is not another person's job to hold you accountable. That is your job. People can support you to be accountable, but no one but you can do the hard work of taking accountability for yourself. Don't wait until someone else has to bring up your behavior. Whenever possible, work to proactively take accountability for yourself. Say something the moment you make a mistake, caused hurt or harm, or acted out of alignment with your values. Check in with someone about your behavior before they have to say something to you. Communicate well. Build a strong moral compass and get clear about your values. Accountability should be proactive. We should be forthcoming about our mistakes rather than hoping no one finds out about what we've done. Ideally, we should proactively communicate with others as soon as we know that we've messed up or haven't done what we said we would do. That is true whether someone has made us aware of what we've done or haven't done, or whether we've come to that realization on our own. We would care more about doing the right thing than getting caught. We would not put the labor of reaching out and checking in about our accountability on someone else, especially those whom we've harmed. We would proactively do the work to be accountable for ourselves, including the work to not run away and hide. Proactively taking accountability for our actions is an important way we can build trust with the people in our lives. It is a practice that demonstrates our character, integrity, capacity for self-reflection, and the kinds of values that we are committed to. It is a practice of interdependence, a way to care for those we love and ourselves, and shows that we have done our own internal work to take responsibility for our actions. Please let us hear our anthem.
Cause I'm a brave woman, I'm a strong woman, I'm a tough woman, never give up woman. Cause I'm brave, cause I'm strong, that's why life's pressing down, that's why life's pressing down, it's true. This body been my boat through seas, calm and waves, shape the shores of my soul, relentlessly carve out space to hold up my back through the day. The joys and the pains are lessons for me to gain. The medicine, life is your best medicine. The medicine, yeah, the medicine. Cause I'm a brave woman, I'm a strong woman, I'm a tough woman, never give up woman. Cause I'm brave, cause I'm strong, that's why life's pressing down, that's why life's pressing down, it's true. other lives and relied on others to guide, but the answers have always been inside. And when I get the choice to change, I always choose to stay the same, to believe in myself, stand up and speak out, recognize my power and never back down, call out the lies, fight for our rights, 'cause women are strong and together we rise, to believe in ourselves, stand up and speak out, recognize our power and never back down. Oh, call out the lies and fight for our rights, 'cause women are strong and together we rise. Together we rise. 'Cause I'm a brave woman, I'm a strong woman, I'm a tough woman, never give up woman. 'Cause I'm brave, 'cause I'm strong, that's why life's pressing down, that's why life's pressing down on. 'Cause I'm brave, 'cause I'm strong, that's why life's pressing down, why life's pressing down on me. Because I'm brave, because I'm strong, because I'm that's why life's pressing down on me. Yeah, that's why life's pressing down, that's why life's pressing down on me.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Unitarian Universalism is a faith about love. Love is a stream that goes through a lot of the conversations that we have, the theologies that we hold. Many churches use the Villa Blake covenant, which starts, "Love is the doctrine of this church." We have the sense that love can hold us, can sustain us through all the things that we are engaging. And it comes, at least for me, from our universalist heritage. This idea of universal salvation, that there's this love that is so strong, so powerful, that it can transform us. It can change us, help us be our best selves, to live into the fullness of our humanity and into the blessed community. This love guides us and moves us in all ways. It is the connection and relationships that we have to one another. If you remember Reverend Allison talking last week about the importance of covenant and relationship, and it's founded on this idea of love. And this faith is also centered in justice. This idea that we are together, working together to shift and transform the world to be better, to live into its ideals, to what it could be. And in some ways, this love and justice are very similar. In fact, Cornel West says that justice is what love looks like in public. Justice, the public manifestation of the love that grounds us, that holds us. I remember many years ago, I guess maybe not that many years ago, but with the Side with Love campaign, and we were all out in different ways in our yellow shirts, and out there showing up for justice. And we were known as the love people. Love is so much a part of who we are, and justice is that manifestation. And when we think about justice, we can't let go of the idea of accountability, because justice calls us to be accountable to each other, to what we do, the actions that we do, and what harms that have happened in the world. But sometimes, whereas we're engaging in the accountability, that love feels distant. That we forget the love in trying to be in the space of accountability. I think in our culture, we've relegated accountability to ideas of just consequences and punishment, holding this binary of good and evil, that if we're holding someone accountable, then they have to be punished in some way. They have to suffer. They have to feel the pain, which seems to go against their universalist idea of universal salvation. And so there's a question of how do we hold this idea of accountability if we also believe in salvation for all? Adrienne Marie Brown writes, when the response to mistakes, failures, and misunderstandings is emotional, psychological, economic, and physical punishment, we breed a culture of fear, secrecy, and isolation. And what she means in that is that when we focus solely on the punishment part of accountability, people do all that they can to avoid being held accountable. And so there are systems come into place to not let people know that something has gone wrong. People are motivated by fear. They isolate themselves. There's systems of secrecy to hold people away from actions that could bring accountability because they are afraid to face that. So what if we approach accountability with the transforming power of love? In Mia Mingus's reading, she states that accountability is generative, not punitive. If we bring that transformative power of love, accountability helps us grow and change and transform. It doesn't hide the fact that something has gone wrong, but it moves towards what can we do to change, to make a difference, to live into our best selves and our best possibilities. So if we ground in the principles of transformative justice, that changes the nature of accountability. Adrienne Marie Brown defines transformative justice as justice practices that go all the way to the root of the problem and generate solutions and healing there, such that the conditions that create injustice are transformed. When reading that, I just felt our universalism manifesting in those words, that sense that we are going to the root, and since using the power of love, this great power beyond us to go and do the healing where the problems exist, not focusing as much as on the surface, maybe scarring of the wound, but their actual root and problem and cause, and transforming there so that the healing is holistic. And the healing sets into motion ways and so that the actions of harm, the systems of harm, do not replicate themselves, that they are eradicated at the very basis. Adrienne Marie Brown also says, we need to move away from holding people accountable. Instead, work to support people, actually this is Mia Mingus' words, to support people to proactively take accountability for themselves. It is not another person's job to hold you accountable. That is your job. People can support you to be accountable, but no one can, but you can do the hard work of taking accountability for yourself. This is what accountability is, the work that we do, the work that we take on to change and transform, to live into the beloved community in ourselves, and that we work together to support each other in living into that accountability. And this is for the everyday accountability. Not lifted up in these words are the systems of oppression, of power, and violence that also invade, and that needs more often direct accountability. It may actually need more of the punishment aspect to move and change and transform, but the roots of this accountability can do the healing work to do and shift the systems. But sometimes we need to prevent more harm and need to set very clear boundaries, restrictions to prevent that. And we need to be aware of not contributing to cycles of harm in our way of trying to provide accountability. So Mia Mingus defines 4 parts of accountability: self-reflection, apologizing, repair, and behavior change. The first is self-reflection. This is where we understand our actions and the impact. This is ongoing work. This is not something you do at the beginning and say, I've had my revelation, I understand, I'm ready to go. This is constant work because we are constantly understanding and reflecting on the different layers of our actions and the impact. It's taking the moment to really take stock of what we have done and what harm it caused, or what was the impact, and what the continuous impact could be. And to start thinking about how to stop that from happening. Next is moving into the space of apologizing. And this is acknowledging the impact of your actions and take responsibility. To know that, yes, I did wrong, and I take responsibility for that. And to start to rebuild trust again, to actually do the next stage, which is the repair. And apologizing is not always a one-time thing. We may need to apologize over and over again. Because part of the purpose of apologizing is to set the stage, to acknowledge, but also to begin the process of rebuilding the trust that can regain and reconnect and repair the relationship that has been broken. And repairing that trust is essential for that work. And there are some times where we talk about trust as, oh, you build trust by just trusting, but there are many cultures and many ways of being you build trust by actually being someone who is trustworthy. And so when you are not trustworthy, that trust has to be rebuilt and work has to be put in place to make that happen. This is the repair work, the next stage, and it's actually kind of goes hand in hand with the apologizing. And it's all about the relationship. How do you rebuild a relationship and engage and make amends? And sometimes there are easy ways that you can solve to heal things. There's a practical action you can do. I can fix the thing that was broken, or I can give some money to recover what was lost. But sometimes things are not that tangible. And sometimes it's about the promises we make and the repeated actions that we do that show that we are not going to do what we did again. And it's constant, ongoing work that takes time, weeks, months, even years. And centered around that is the next stage, the last stage of this, which is also in some ways the key stage, behavior change. We have to change our behavior. Whatever we did that caused harm, we have to shift those behaviors so we don't do that again. This is the hardest part of the work because it asks us to change ourselves, to take ownership of what we've done and find the ways to not replicate them. We need support systems to do this. This is work that we have to do on our own, and yet we can't do on our own. We need people there to hold us, to support us as we are doing the rough work, and to be able to check in with us. How's it going? You know, it's like, hey, I'm noticing that you're going back into that behavior. Let's course correct now. And in some ways, it's helpful to develop. And I love how Mia Mingus talks about you create a support system for accountability before you do something that requires you to be an accountable in relationship. That you have those people in place so that when something happens, and something will happen because we are human and we do make mistakes and we do hurt each other and those things happen. And if we have that support system in place to say, oh, I did it, I need you now. Help me, support me as I do this work. It's a lot easier to do that and have the people in place that in the moment of your struggle than to try to put those people together. So think about who are the people you can call on when you make that mistake and you need to do your work, that you can say, I need to do my work. Can you partner with me in this as I do this? Please hold me as I do this. This work of accountability is so important. And we must practice in order to do it. It's not something that just happens, which means that we have to mess up because you can't practice it if you haven't done something that requires you to be accountable. And we are people, and there will be something that we have done that requires us to be accountable. That's just the way it is. But it also asks us to look at failures not as ends, but beginnings, as opportunities to recognize something in you needs to change and making that change. A time for growth, time for learning, time for transformation. Accountability calls us to stop in the name of love, to live into our universalist beliefs that transformation is possible, does happen. It works through us. And as you are engaging in a process of accountability, and it helps to picture Diana Ross and the Supremes holding you in this process, go for it. Stop in the name of love. Blessed be. Please rise as you are able in body or spirit and join us now in singing our closing hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way. like angels. If you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us. We lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Cross your hands over your heart and hear these words of benediction from Adrienne Marie Brown. We will not cancel us, but we must earn our place on this earth. We will tell each other we hurt people and who. We will tell each other why and who hurt us and how. We will tell each other what we will do to heal ourselves and heal the wounds in our wake. We will be accountable, rigorous in our accountability. All of us unlearning, all of us crawling toward dignity. We will learn to set and hold boundaries, communicate without manipulation, give and receive consent, ask for help, love our shadows without letting them rule our relationships, and remember, we are of earth, of miracle, of a whole, of a massive river. Love, life, life, love. Blessed be, go in peace.